thanks for joining me. My name's Dan Sowden from Ray White with our quarterly property market update here on the Sunshine Coast. Now, the Market Monitor is our quarterly document I'll be covering today. And I'm going to break it up into three parts for you today. The first of all is our auction report, the most public part of our real estate business. I'm going to talk about the buyer inspections we've seen over the last 90 days. And then thirdly, we're going to talk about who's actually doing the buying in the market right now. So first of all, the auction report. So over the last 90 days, our overall success rate of sale at auction was 82%. Now that is up 9% on the previous quarter at 73%. So clearly more buyers and more sellers are transacting through that auction process. That was over 98 auctions, believe it or not. We sold 66 over the quarter. 54 was the average days on market that it took to sell one of those properties. Now, some interesting stats around the prices that were being achieved. Now, we do measure two types of price information. The first one is the level of discounting on the reserve price that the sellers might set, and also the level of lift that buyers may pay extra on the day of auction. Overall, over those 90 days, our sellers did discount slightly, 0.86% across the 90 days, whereas our buyers on average paid an extra 2.78% across all the auctions. So as you can see, buyers are now paying more under the hammer. Sellers are discounting a little bit, but certainly not a lot in the grand scheme of things. 36 pre-auction offers, and we had 233 bidders registered across those 98 auctions. Now I want to talk about September a little bit, because in September we held our in-room auction event with 45 properties going under the hammer. You might have seen it in the press. It was held locally at Gary Crick's Mercedes-Benz. A wonderful day. We had over 500 people there in the room. We had over 100 bidders in attendance, and at the close of play on the day of that auction, we had sold 20 out of the 45 properties, and certainly the post-auction sales have been sort of climbing since that auction event on the 25th of September. There's our auction report. Now, understanding buyer inspection trends is critically important when it comes to selling your home, both in terms of the trends, the volumes, the amount of buyers viewing in the market today, but also how they're finding your property and which type of properties are they choosing to view, perhaps over others as well. So over the last 90 days, we conducted 4,159 buyer inspections, a whopping great big number. When we focus on September specifically, we conducted 1,628 buyer inspections. That was a rise of 31% on the month before of August. We put that down to our in-room auction event with the 45 auctions. It was the auction properties that really did draw those additional buyers, and we saw the lift of 31% in terms of the number of buyers viewing the property. Over the course of the quarter, 1,674 buyers viewed auction properties over the private treaty sales. So that represents about 40% of the total buyer inspections we conducted were conducted through the auction campaigns. Now, how buyers are viewing the properties. There are only two options. You can view via an open home or via a private inspection. Now let's look at the numbers here. We conducted 1,138 open homes over the course of the 90 days. 4,159 buyers viewed all the properties. Of the 4,159, only 940 buyers viewed the properties via private inspection times. So the overwhelming majority of buyers are still choosing to view their real estate on the first or second occasion through the advertised open homes. Running advertising and open home campaigns seems to be, and the numbers suggest, critically important when it comes to driving buyers through your particular property. And lastly, who is buying the real estate? Who is buying? Now, we measure this each and every month, either owner-occupiers or investors. Who's winning the race? Right now, it's owner-occupiers are winning the race. 75% of the transactions completed over the last 90 days were conducted by owner-occupiers. Now, why is that? Well, you could pose the argument that investors on one side are maybe a little bit more price sensitive, investors on one side a little bit more yield orientated, and there may be less orientated to get carried away with the bidding and pay a little bit extra for a property because they're bidding with their calculator in mind. On the other side, owner-occupiers. Owners are just looking to move into a home. They just want to secure the right real estate in the right suburb, and it seems to be, in the majority of cases, are happy to pay a little bit extra if it means securing the property. So over the last 90 days, owner-occupiers are winning the race when it comes to buying property. Well, thanks for joining me. My name's Dan Sowden from Ray White. If you want to ask any questions about the Sunshine Coast real estate market, just go into our social media and hashtag AskTheAgent, and we'll certainly get back to you on the next video. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you again soon.